Practice 2. Part 7. Question 85. If a 2-inch conduit has 3 or more conductors, it may be filled no more than 1.34 inch. You may fill a 2-inch conduit up to 1.34 inches with 3 conductors. A 2-inch conduit with 3 wires may have a max fill of 1.34 inch. Question 86. The maximum number of number 12 RH conductors that may be installed in a 1.5 inch octagonal box containing a fixture stud is 5 RH conductors. 5 max amount of number 5 RH conductors in a 1.5 inch octagonal box with fixture stud. Question 87. Emergency power panel conductors supplying a building are tapped on the line side of the building. Tap emergency loads on the line side of a building. Emergency power panel conductors are tapped on the line side of a building. Question 88. If a main circuit trips, what is the best way to troubleshoot it? Test with an ammeter first. Test with an ammeter first if a main circuit trips. If a main circuit trips, test with an ammeter first. Question 89. What is the biggest problem created by the use of aluminum wiring in residential structures? It creates poor connections at the terminals because it expands and contracts so much. Aluminum wire's biggest problem is poor connections due to expansion and contraction. Aluminum wire expands and contract and creates poor connections. Question 90. Service drop conductors were not in excess of 600 volts. Nominal shall have a clearance of 18 from final grade on the service drop to a barn on a farm. 600 volt under 600 volts shall have a minimum of 18 feet clearance from grade to a barn. Service drop wires of 600 volts to a barn shall have minimum clearance of 18 feet from grade. Question 91. Which wire is the largest? 0000. Largest wire is 0000 wires. 04 times. Which wire is the largest? 0000. Question 92. When in the field working, what is the most common method of providing a 90-degree bend in a 1-inch conduit? Hand hickey. Most common way to make a 90-degree bend with 1-inch conduit by hand hickey. Use a hand hickey to make 90-degree bend in a 1-inch conduit. Question 93. When making up a junction box, how long should the conductors be on the outside of the box? 6 inches. Conductors should be 6 inches outside of the box. Make up a junction box with 6 inches of conductor outside the box. Question 94. Which fasteners are used to put the cover plate on an electrical distribution panel box? Panhead thread forming screw. Use panhead thread forming screws on the cover plate of electrical distribution box. The cover plate for an electrical distribution box should have panhead thread forming fasteners. Question 95. When establishing the size of a main breaker, what is the best procedure to follow? Load plus 125%. A main breaker sized should be load plus 125%. To size a main breaker, use load plus 125%. Question 96. Which of the following meters would you use for testing over 600 volts? Multimeter. Use a multimeter for testing over 600 volts. For testing over 600 volts, use a multimeter. Question 97. Which of the following best describes the method of checking the proper rotation of a motor before turning it on? Use a phase angle meter. The best method of checking the proper rotation of a motor before startup is a phase angle meter. Use a phase angle meter to check proper rotation of motor before startup. Question 98. How do you fasten conductors in a service panel box? Pressure cable connector. Use a pressure cable connector to fasten conductors in a service panel. Best way to fasten conductors in a service panel is pressure cable connectors. Question 99. The turnover time for pool water for private spas or hot tubs is 1 hour or less. Water turnover time is an hour or less. Turnover time for pool water for private spas or hot tubs is 1 hour or less. Question 100. What is the maximum distance to mount a receptacle in a bedroom from the door? 2 feet and 12 feet to the next receptacle. Max distance for bedroom receptacle is 2 feet from door and 12 feet to the next receptacle. Bedroom doors must have a plug within 2 feet, and then next plug must be within 12 feet.